Hello, this is Domenico again, and we're going to illustrate our last scenario with perfect competition. And in here, we're going to use another real world uh, example and a very recent example. And that's going to be the 2020 Russia-Saudi Arabia oil price war. Um, this took place in the first quarter of 2020, and this was already occurring at the beginning of the pandemic. The United States, European nations were beginning to go into lockdown, and you kind of had a double shock of a global decrease in demand for petroleum as a result of the COVID pandemic lockdown, and then on top of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia engaged in an oil price war where they were increasing the global supply. And that's just, spells out one thing. Price of oil is going to collapse as you have a double shock, a shock in demand and a shock in supply, a decrease in demand and an increase in supply. So you get a dramatic fall in the price of oil, which is something that I personally would never have thought I would have seen in my life, but it did happen. Um, so in March, just looking at Wikipedia, just a little bit of information about this. Russia had been working with OPEC, and this alliance was known as OPEC Plus, OPEC nations plus Russia, and they were colluding to restrict the oil supply over the past few years to prop the price of oil up around $40-50 a barrel. But then in March 8th, 2020, Saudi Arabia initiated a price war against Russia because Russia was not or was refusing to reduce their oil production. So Saudi Arabia decided to punish Russia by intentionally increasing the global supply, by increasing the quantity supplied from Saudi Arabia. And this led to a 65% fall in the price of oil. So we can see that dramatic, shocking drop in the price of oil as a result of this price war. Here we are in December, going into January, February, and then March, kaboom, a dramatic fall in that price. And eventually we know in perfect competition that prices do collapse, but they also rebound. And this model that we're going to draw today is going to illustrate how and why. Here we have another illustration of that dramatic fall in the price of oil. Okay, so let's go ahead and illustrate what happened. So I'm going to call this perfectly competitive market structure. This is going to be scenario number 4. And here we're going to be illustrating an oil extracting firm starting at normal profit. Then they're going to go to a significant loss. And then the firms that survive will return to normal profit. And this is being driven by a global decrease in the supply. A global increase in the supply of oil. So there's going to be an increase in supply from Saudi Arabia. And eventually we're going to see that's going to lead to a decrease in supply so we can achieve normal profit again. So let's go ahead and illustrate this. We're going to be looking at the global market for petroleum or crude oil. In the year 2020, right? Early 2020. So we have two graphs. We're going to illustrate the industry and the individual oil extracting firm. And we're going to label our axes. The quantity axis is labeled Q for the quantity supply and demand of crude oil. And on the industry, we're measuring price. And for the individual firm, we're measuring price, costs, and revenue. Okay. So let's go ahead and begin drawing this. So the industry has an upward sloping global supply for crude oil at S1. We have a downward sloping global demand for crude oil or petroleum, D1, according to the law of demand. And that sets an equilibrium at point A, quantity supply and demanded at Q1, and equilibrium price in the free market being established at P1. This creates the perfectly elastic price that the individual oil extracting firm must accept at P1, so that becomes a perfectly elastic price. We're going to label that P1, which is equal to our average revenue 1, which is equal to our marginal revenue 1. Average revenue is our demand curve, and that's equal to our marginal benefit. And we're going to draw the supply curve for the individual firm, which has that backwards J shape as a result of the law of diminishing marginal returns. And S1 is equal to our marginal costs of production. And we're going to have it intersect with ATC at its lowest point, right here, ATC, average total costs. And here the firm is producing at that point. So we're going to assume again, profit maximization, profit max. The symbol for profit is pi, and profit maximization is achieved where MR equals MC. Here is MR, and it intersects with MC at this point here, which I'll label point A, and that's just the quantity supplied by the individual oil extracting firm at Q1. So the firm is generating normal profit since average revenue is equal to average total costs at point A. And then what happens? So as we saw, March 2020, Saudi Arabia decides to punish Russia by intentionally increasing the supply, their supply, which will impact the global supply of petroleum. So global supply increases from S1 to S2. And we have a new equilibrium in the industry set where S2 equals D1 at point B. So the quantity supplied increases from Q1 to Q2, and that lowers the price for oil from P1 to P2. Now in that Wikipedia article, we saw that there was a 65% decrease in the price of crude oil, and that will set this perfectly elastic price. Actually, I'll make it a dotted line. Just give me a second. That will become this perfectly elastic price that the individual firm must accept. Price falls for the firm from P1 to P2, which is equal to our average revenue 2, which is equal to marginal revenue 2. Average revenue is our demand curve, so there's D2, and our marginal benefit curve is equal to demand. So there we go. So price has fallen for the individual oil extracting firm, and they're going to have to decrease the quantity supply to produce where MR equals MC. So they decrease the quantity supplied until MC is equal to MR, and that is at Q2, at point B. So now let's highlight the loss that's being generated by the individual oil extracting firm. Price has fallen, and so here at point B, we're trying to focus on what's happening with AR and ATC. Here's the average revenue right here. We notice that it's less than the average total cost. So I'll label this C1. Here is P2, which is equal to our average revenue 2. And C1 is equal to our average total costs. So we see that ATC is greater than AR. So this red box, a rectangle, reflects the loss of the firm. Right? They are losing a significant amount of money. Okay, here's point B. So what happens? Economists could see, and any investor that's very familiar with the oil industry could see that at that low price, where the price of oil had collapsed by 65%, there was definitely going to be a number of oil extracting firms, particularly oil extracting firms that extract from the sea. Those oil platforms in the Atlantic or perhaps Pacific Ocean, or in the North Sea, the cost of producing oil or extracting oil is very, very high, as opposed to extracting oil in a desert where you don't have to clear any vegetation, you just drill, and the weight of the earth just puts enough pressure for the oil to come out. So oil extraction in the sea is very, very expensive. So a lot of investors and economists knew that those oil extracting firms that extract from the sea are probably going to start going into bankruptcy. So these individual oil extracting firms that have significant losses, where ATC is significantly greater than AR, are going to begin to shut down and exit from the industry. And if you look at the news, you'll notice that from March to even now, there are a number of oil extracting firms that extract from the sea that have gone into Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I believe Transocean and Valorous are two of the companies that come to mind that declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and that's still ongoing right now. So as these firms begin to leave the industry, there's less and less oil extracting firms, which means that there's going to be less and less firms that are able to extract, so the global supply begins to decrease since there's firms exiting the industry. So S2 shifts back to S1. We're back at point A. Price has now gone up to P1. That becomes a perfectly elastic price that the firm must accept. And for the surviving firms, the firms that have enough profit set aside to cover the losses, they're able to successfully reduce their variable costs and lower their ATC curve, are able to survive, and the price of oil rises, and they're able to increase their quantity supplied from Q2 to Q1, or from point B to point A, until they generate normal profit again. So again, we can see that in this chart, yes, the price of oil collapsed, but eventually it rises. And part of that is due to investors knowing that eventually there'll be some firms exiting the industry. And as they shut down, the global supply will decrease and price should be able to rise. So you had different investors betting on that. So let's go ahead and analyze this graph step by step, as you would on a paper 1 exam. So as can be seen, we have two graphs illustrating the global market for the crude oil industry in the first quarter of 2020. We're looking at the industry in the first graph, and we're also looking at the individual firm and the graph to our right. On the x-axis, we're measuring quantity of oil supply and demanded. And for the industry, we're measuring price on the y-axis. And for the firm, we're measuring price, costs, and revenue for the individual firm. In the oil industry, we see an upward sloping supply curve labeled S1 according to the law of supply. We have a downward sloping demand curve labeled D1 according to the law of demand. And with the firm, we notice that they have an upward sloping supply curve, again according to the law of supply, labeled S1, which is equal to our marginal cost curve 1, which intersects with ATC at its lowest point. So in the industry where S1 equals D1, that intersection at point A establishes the quantity supplied and demanded at Q1 and establishes a free market price at P1. And that becomes a perfectly elastic price that the individual firm must accept, which is P1. And P1 equals AR1, which equals MR1, which equals D1, which equals marginal benefit 1. Assuming profit maximization, the firm will produce where MR equals MC at point A, establishing a quantity at Q1. And at Q1, we notice that this firm is generating normal profits since AR is equal to ATC. They're at break even. Then what happens? As a result of Saudi Arabia wanting to punish Russia for not agreeing to restrict their oil supply, Saudi Arabia begins to increase their output of global oil. So they're impacting the global supply, and the global supply increases from S1 to S2, where S2 equals D1 at point B. We have an increase in the quantity supply and demand of oil at Q2, and we have a fall in the price of oil from P1 to P2. This establishes the perfectly elastic price that the individual firm must accept at P2, which is equal to AR2, which equals to MR2, which equals to D2, which equals to MB2. And at point B, the firm will reduce the quantity supplied to profit maximize. So they're going to reduce the quantity supplied until MR equals MC, MR equaling MC at point B. Quantity supply is decreased to Q2. And at Q2, we notice that the average total costs are greater than the average revenue. So the firm is generating a loss. There'll be many firms generating a loss, and they'll try to desperately reduce their variable costs to reduce their average total cost, but some firms will not succeed, and those firms will shut down and exit the industry. So as more and more firms begin to shut down and exit the industry, the global supply will begin to decrease. And it will shift from S2 back to S1, raising the price from P2 back to P1. And at P1, which is the perfectly elastic price that the firm must accept, the surviving firms, the firms that survive this shock, will be able to produce at normal profit. Price will rise from P2 to P1. The quantity supplied will increase from Q2 to Q1 in order to profit maximize. And at point A, we see that AR is equal to ATC, and they're back at normal profit. So that's the analysis. In terms of your evaluation, you might want to mention that the industry, again, is always allocatively efficient. Because they will always produce where marginal benefit equals marginal costs. The supply curve is our marginal cost curve, and our demand curve is our marginal benefit. And at the intersection of point A and point B, MC equals MB. So the industry is always allocatively efficient. In regards to the firm, it is the same case. At point A, we can see that marginal benefit equals marginal cost. So the firm at point A is allocatively efficient. Also at point B, we see that the marginal benefit is equal to the marginal cost, so it's allocatively efficient. The firm is allocatively efficient. In terms of productive efficiency, you want to make a note. Productive efficiency occurs at minimum ATC. So at point A, we see that the firm is producing at minimum ATC. ATC is at its lowest point when it intersects with the marginal cost curve. But when they decrease the quantity supplied to B, or from Q1 to Q2, we see that the average total costs are rising. So at point B, the firm is not productively efficient. They are productively efficient at normal profit, but not when they generate a loss or supernormal profit. So that's it. We have graphed perfect competition with a increase and decrease in supply. We've seen the firm go from normal profit to a loss back to normal profit. And that helps us explain, that helps us to understand how the price had collapsed but then rebounded in this 2020 Russia-Saudi Arabia oil price war. And that's it. Thank you so much.